Good evening, students. So today, let's continue the topic that we have been discussing, that is the laws of UX. In that, we'll see Postel's law. So, in the previous class, we have discussed on the Miller's law and Hicks law. So prior to that, we also discussed about the Jacob's law. Uh, these are the important laws that we need to keep in mind while we are providing a solution or while we are providing the design. So here in Postel's law, we'll see like what it is and how it can be helpful. So here it actually there is an other name for Postel's law, which is robustness principle. It is an important principle, like basic foundation principle in UX design. And be conservative in what you do, be liberal in what you accept from others. So when it comes to this, uh, we need to be advocating for becoming conservative in what we are sending, and we need to be liberal in what we need to accept. So what it can be said, like in other meaning, like in simpler terms, uh, it means that designers should design interfaces that are flexible for the flexible and easy for the users to use, and it should be readily acceptable by different user inputs, and it should also handle unexpected errors. Right, so we need to be empathetic, and we need to take like what the user will feel, and we need to stick to the well defined standards and protocols for outputs and feedback. Be empathetic to, flexible about, and be tolerant of any of the various actions the user could take or any input they might provide. So when we are creating interfaces, we need to stick to this rules, like the UX laws. So this will help us in uh, giving a consistent experience for the user, even though the user's experience might not be predictable. We should also be tolerant of different user inputs, like some might use the input validation, like it could be different inputs by different users. So we need to try to handle errors and incorrect input gracefully, like there could be some if a user is filling a form, and in that for the formatting in email, they should use at Gmail or Ymail, whatever it is. Without using at, there can't be an email, right? So we need to make sure that they are providing their email address only, without giving us like fake information. So error handling should also be uh, handled carefully, so that it will prevent users from becoming frustrated, or they could be stuck in the same place itself without knowing how to proceed further by submitting the input forms. And we should also make it accessible to users with disabilities, like it should include the screen readers or assistive technologies. The more we anticipate and plan for in design, the more resilient the design will be. So we need to plan how the design is going to be. It should be user friendly and easy to understand by the user. So we should also accept various like variable input from users uh, in order to meet their requirements. So once the form is submitted, we should also give a clear feedback to the user, like the form that they have filled is submitted, and will revert back in 24 hours, something like that. A message should also be shown to the user. Only then they can know what is the next step. Designing good user experiences means designing good human experiences. So uh, if we want to design something that is easy for the user to use, then it uh, it means it is a good UX. So people don't behave like machines. We are sometimes, so we can't expect the humans to behave perfectly and rightly all the time. They can make mistakes sometimes. uh, they are prone, like sometimes they don't make any error, but sometimes they make errors, like it is usually driven by emotion. Sometimes they might make a mistake, like they can type an incorrect username, or there could be spelling errors, something like that. So we expect the products and services to interact and understand them. So if the user has written an incorrect formatted email address or phone number, then we as designers, we should include the phone number, like an indication message we need to provide them along with the input field. So if it's an email address, then there should be at, so we should give an error message as well. So if the user is selecting too many items, mm, and if the user is adding one product to e-commerce, in e-commerce shopping website, maybe in Ajio, a user is uh, adding the products to the cart, and then he wants to check out, but during that time itself the product that he has added went out of stock. Then we need to show that error message. So only then the user will understand that the product he has chosen has gone out of stock. So before that itself, in the product detail page itself, we need to show how many are in stock. Like if there is only 4 products in stock, then we need to show it prominently. Then they'll understand that there are only 4 products left in the page, so we need to make a decision quickly, else it will run out of stock. So uh, we expect to feel in control all the times, and we generally annoyed when asked to provide more information than is necessary. So if a lot of information is being asked in the app, then we might lose control and we might feel frustrated. And at the same time, we use the feature support capabilities and form factors, like to meet the user's expectations. We also need some support from the app. That support can be either in the form of guiding the users to complete the process that they have started, or there could also be the customer support function in the app. So here Postel's law, that we have seen, the other name of Postel's law is robustness principle. So this is a guiding principle for designing human centric experiences. So as we've seen itself, this Postel's law will be helpful in the app when it comes to helping the users or guiding the users what they need to do. If an user commits an error, then he will also know how he can solve that error. So we need to be forgiven in what you accept, like be forgiving in what you accept and careful in what you send. So that is actually it. Let's take an example. Let's imagine we are having a tea party with some kind of other people. So one person says, "May I have some tea, please?" And other just says, "Tea." So we'll still pour tea for both. We are kind and we understand even when someone says something a little funny, right? So that's what it is. Here, what it means in Postel's law, in UX terms, what I'm trying to interpret from this example of the tea party is that our app should understand different ways how the users might interact. Let's see this. Wait, let me take. In this, our app should understand different ways the user will interact. Like, for example, user 1 might type for date field. In the date field, like in the input field, the user 1 might type 12/05/2025, and on the other hand user 2 might type May 12, 2025. So the app should still know what they actually mean. Are they both same or is it different? So the app should try to understand the different ways the user might interact with the product. So the app should not throw an error message saying it is wrong, because both are correct but in different terms, right? So this is one scenario. Let me also write the meaning of Postel's law. Be forgiving in what you accept, in what you accept, in the sense what we are receiving from the user. We need to be forgiving in that case, and we need to be careful in what we are sending as app. What we will be sending, when the app gives back something, it could be what the app could give the user. It could be like a message, or it could be a button, else an alert or notification kind of thing. Okay, it could be anything which the app is giving back to the user. So it should be clear for the user to understand it should be correct information so that nobody gets confused. So here what is the takeaway, or what we need to understand in this law is that users can make mistakes, but our design should be flexible and kind. So users can make mistakes. So if the users make mistakes, then we need to be forgiving and accepting. So our app will give the output that should be exact, and it should be helpful for the user. So this is all about this Postel's law, actually, in short, like a nutshell. So the first half of Postel's law states that we should be conservative in what we do. So in the context of design, this can be interpreted as stipulating that the output of our efforts, important features of the digital product or the service, the app that we are trying to design. So, because not only must the interface be easy to use, but it should also be easy to use for the largest spectrum of users possible. So it's not just the interface is going to be easy, but it's also going to be helpful for a lot, like a large number of major users in the app. Anyone it could be, from any device they could use, from any place they can stay. It should be helpful for them, it should be easy to understand by them, and the features they are looking for, it should support those features, and the inputs, like whatever input they are trying to give. For example, I have told you the date variation between two users who are trying to input the same date but in different format. It should also support them, and it should not throw an error message, because there could be variation in what they are uh, brought up, but it's not wrong. So our app should be designed in such a way that it supports and understands the users. So it should be serving something that works. Since the second half of the principle states that you should be liberal in what you accept from others. So that's what we've seen. The second half of the app, what we are giving as an app, like the message or the CTA button that we have designed, the UX copy in that CTA button, what the user has to do. If it's an onboarding process, then we could give two CTAs. One would be skip, and the next one would be to what it could be next. Instead of submit, we would have next. So it should indicate what the user has to do next, right? So here, that is the second half of this principle. This can be taken to mean the acceptance of input from users through any input mechanism and in a variety of possible formats. The formats can be different. Still, we should consider what input which the user has given. So, the data which the user is entering, and assistive technology, or the touch and gesture input from the mobile users, even the voice input. There could be variations in the language which they speak. If they're Tamil speaking people, the slang in every language speaking person, right? So it should consider all the differences in the humans, and it also applies to screens of any size, resolution, from a watch interface all the way up to a TV. So even if it's going to be a mobile phone or if it's going to be TV, the YouTube functions like the interactions, whatever we are trying to watch in YouTube is going to be the same, like the error messages. Uh, there could be differences in the devices. Still, uh, we'll have to look for what the users differences in the users are. So we'll also see some other examples as well in this. So John Postel, he had made significant contributions. Like he was the one who has proposed this law, and his early contributions he has implemented in the transmission control protocol. So these are just like the origination or how it got originated. Let's skip this and move to the examples. So here, Postel's law describes an approach to design that's more akin to the philosophy of human-computer interaction. So we should anticipate virtually anything in terms of input, access, and capability, while providing a reliable and accessible interface. There are lots of examples that could demonstrate this kind of approach. We'll begin with the input forms. So yes, the input forms that we saw, like there could be the forms have been long, like primary means for which people provide information to systems in the digital space. So in the digital era, like uh, how do we collect information from people if they are looking for an event and they want to attend that event? What do? We circulate the forms. In that form, the people will give their input information. So that is the medium in which the humans can interact with the systems. uh, that is the way how they are submitting the forms to process the information. And in this regard, the first consideration is to be conservative in how much information you ask people to provide. Even if in user survey, if you want to get a lot of data from the people, then what we do, we just list down all the questions in the this kind of Google Forms and then circulate it to the target audience, right? So that is how we send the forms. So in that, the first thing is to determine how much questions are we going to ask, how much fields are the users going to fill out. The more questions we ask them, the more cognitive energy that we discussed yesterday, that is the cognitive load, like the mind, the thinking, the thought process of the users will also involve a lot. Then their effort will also increase a lot. Thus what happens, it will lead to deterioration in the quality of the decisions that they are making. Like the decision making quality will not be as strong as earlier. Like if their cognitive energy is used less, then their decision making capabilities would be even more effective. So this is also known as decision fatigue, and this would likely to reduce uh, their way of completing the forms. They might not actually complete the form, only a few people would complete the form. So we should include only the information that is necessary and that is actually primary for us to have. Some of the necessary or mandatory information that we need to ask could be email address or password. So that can minimize the effort required to fill a form. There is also a consideration of how flexible the system is with respect to user input. So humans and computers communicate in different ways, and there's sometimes a disconnect between information that humans provide and information that the computer expects. So uh, sometimes there could be differences in what we are expecting as humans and what the computer is expecting. So we need to feed that information in the computer itself. Only then there will be alignment between the both. So here, Postel's law dictates that computers should be robust enough to accept varying types of human input. So the various types of human inputs that we have discussed, like it could be the differences in the date. We mentioned there are different types of date input which the user can give. Sometimes the user might also give month first, and then comes the date, and then year. So there are different types of input which user can give based on their upbringing, and not only make sense of it but also process it in computer readable format. So here the other example is Apple's Face ID. This is a facial recognition system that will enable Apple users to authenticate on their mobile devices without providing the username or a password each and every time they want to unlock their devices. So this will help the, you know, this will make their jobs even more easy rather than uh, having to type their email and password to unlock the screen each and every time. So this could be even a cognitive load like we discussed, right? So having the user to input all the information each and every time they want to log in, then it will be headache for the user to use. So let's look at an example that is become ubiquitous in the post desktop era of computing, that is responsive design. So uh, the responsive design is like it's uh, easy for us to use in both website and tablet, mobile. For all the screens it should be responsive, like it should adapt to different screen sizes. So Ethan has introduced this approach in 2010, that is web, responsive web design, which depends on fluid grids, flexible images, and media queries. So even when we are trying to design something, we are trying to design a website, then we should also make sure it is a responsive design. How we can do that is uh, that we will be covering in the UI phase, but uh, the concept of responsive web design is that once we are designing for website, it should also be flexible and adaptable for different screen sizes. In desktop there will be different screen size, for Mac laptop different screen size, tablet, phone, pixel phone would be in different size, iPhone would be in different size. So it should be adaptable in each and every uh, device. So that's what they're trying to convey here. It should respond in a fluid manner to different viewing contexts. It was a completely new approach to designing and building websites at a time when the prominent strategy was to create separate websites for desktops and internet capable mobile devices. So there is no need for us to create separate websites for mobile and separate for desktop. We could just use the same design and make it responsive for each and every device that we are aiming for. So this is what a responsive web design looks like. Even in the watch interface, it's going to adapt to the screen size. Let's take an example here. A simple search box which provides the ability for anyone to select and search a query. Mm. So, along with the search functionality, we are having the voice input as well. So, this voice recognition uh, is an additional valuable feature that could be introduced in the search box. This will be usable by everyone, including those who are using assistive technology like screen readers. So, if this is detected, then a layer of functional enhancement will be added. So, a microphone interaction, like the microphone icon, will be added. So, this will help the users understand that there is even voice search. So, this could also support different devices, and it will be easy for the people who are using watch, instead of searching instead of clicking each and every alphabet in order to search for a particular keyword. They can just make use of this voice icon and then search what they are looking for. Even in TV it will be helpful, so it will be harder for them to type in that kind of device, right? So that is why this kind of feature would be helpful. Examples of Postel's law are not limited to interfaces. That they could also be found in our processes. Like for example, in design system, which are collection of reusable components and patterns guided by standards that define how they are used. Like even in reusable components, if we want to use the same kind of button again and again, then we can make use of Postel's law to reuse the button. So these tools are valuable. Like there could be consistency in all the designs that we are doing, and the content will also be reused. So it will be helpful when it comes to even UI design. So here the design systems, they have enabled a manageable, like they could manage the designs because it is in the consistency manner, since they have used the reusable components. So let's see an postal example of without using Postel's law how it would be, and with by using Postel's law how would it be. Okay. So the input box, same form example we can take. The input box accepts the exact format, like plus 971. Only this number will be accepted if the user gives as an input. So if the user enters 050, even then it will not be accepted. Or if the user enters 1, again it will not be accepted. or even if the user enters 971 50, then again it won't be accepted. So the user has to exactly give this input plus 971 hyphen, even along with the hyphen he has to enter, only then it will accept. So this is how it will show if we are not using Postel's law. So what would be the after effect or the result of not using Postel's law is that the so this is how it would actually be if we are not using Postel's law. So the user would feel frustrated, and he might not know what is the actual mistake that he has committed, because it only shows invalid phone number format rather than uh, the user not understanding what he actually needs to do. Either we need to have this kind of country format uh, in that input field itself, so the user can input the numbers, his phone number, or it should automatically add this hyphen as the user types. So with Postel's law, what would be the result? Here the user would the app would accept different formats, like the app would accept this format, or plus 971 this format, or 971 okay. If the app is accepting all these formats, then the user would feel understood, like the app is understanding what he is actually feeling, and he will also feel supported. So I hope you guys understand this. uh, Here the key consideration is design resiliency, like the input that user provides to a system is variable, like it could vary, it could be different in each system based on the user, and it will be very wide, like vast. And to consider the better UX, we should actually consider the input from the users, and there is nothing, like there is not much difference. We should consider the different inputs from the users, and based on that we need to take upon, like if it's completely different, only then we need to show the error message. So here in this we can see how Amazon is adapting to minimum font size customization. It is responding to font size customization in the header navigation. You could see, like, in the different devices, like the device size could be different in each uh, device that we are using. According to that device size itself, the font is getting customized and adjusting. So the search bar is also getting adapted to the different device size, and thereby the unnecessary links are a bit, font size is reduced. You could see the differences in that, and some of the menu items are eliminated as the font size is also increasing. So we are trying to build the gap between human and machine in Postel's law. We need to accept the human inputs, like we need to uh, be liberate, and we need to accept what kind of input the user is giving, because humans tend to make errors, and it should be a machine, and we need to translate it to machine friendly output for the app to understand, and we need to transfer this burden away from the users, so that they can ensure that the app is user friendly, understanding their needs, and this will help them to build the products according to their needs, and it will also adapt to the different needs of the users, so they could users can be aligned with the product, making it relevant to their use. So let's move to the next law, which is peak end rule. So people judge an experience largely based on how they felt at its peak and in its end, rather than on the total sum or average of every moment of their experience. So uh, let's explain this like in a roller coaster. Imagine we are on a roller coaster, okay? It's mostly fun, but there is a super thrilling loop, like the peak in the middle. In the middle, there might be super thrilling loop, okay, and at the end the ride will slow down, and it will give a fun surprise at the end. So even in the beginning, uh, if the beginning was a bit boring, we actually tend to remember the exciting loop that was in the middle and the nice surprise at the end, and we'll tell everyone it was awesome. So that's how it will be in the roller coaster ride. So in the beginning it might be bit boring, but in the middle it might be super thrilling loop, and then at the end there could be a nice surprise. So let's remember this, and let's try to uh, get back to the peak end rule. How What I am trying to convey here is that it means that people judge an experience based on two moments. One is the best or the worst part, that is the middle part, the peak, and then the very end of the experience. Right? We don't remember every second, like every second of experiencing the app. We just remember the most intense and final parts of the app. So in UX, what we are trying to convey here, let's take in let's say you use an app for online shopping, okay? Most of it was okay, like Mintra was, most of it was okay, your experience, but then the checkout was super smooth, like a peak, okay? and the app showed you a friendly thank you note at the like at the end, after you shopped, after you make the purchase. At the end there will be micro interactions, right? Something like that, a thank you animation at the end showed. Then even if one or two things annoyed you, like made you angry at the first stage, still you think that this app is great. So here the people will always remember the highlight plus the ending. That is how they feel about the whole thing of the using the app. So pay close attention to the most intense points at the final moments, the end of the user journey. So let's also write this. Let's remember the roller coaster example for this. Okay, so in peak end there will be only two situations, one is middle and the second one is the end. So in this the online shopping example is that so you get it right. So we need to in UX we need to make sure that the best parts are so worth that the users are using the app. The best parts should shine, and on the end it's going to be the happy note. An interesting thing happens when we recollect a past event. So instead of uh, considering the entire duration of the experience, so nobody is going to remember the entire experience in your app. Okay, so we tend to focus on an emotional peak, that is in the middle part. It is going to be the place where the users are going to judge your app whether it's going to uh, be so good, or it's going to be the worst experience that they are getting, and in the end what kind of experience are they receiving. So that's the two major points where the user will look upon. So whether they enjoy these moments, consider them as positive or negative, is what going to judge your app. In other words, we remember each of our life experiences as a series of representative snapshots rather than a comprehensive timeline of events. So, even when we try to recollect what has happened in our life, still we'll also try to come up with the memory, uh, like scenes, not the entire sequence of what had happened. We can't recollect each and everything whatever happened in our life like a timeline. We can only recollect as uh, like bits and pieces of scenes that had happened, like just glimpses or images, right? In the same way, it's going to be the experience in your app as well. Like if you have felt some intense emotion, if you have something has disturbed you the most, or the appreciated moment in your life, like what you felt so proud in your life, only certain moments in your life you will be able to remember and recollect. In the same way, this is going to apply to the peak end rule as well in UX. It suggests that we should pay close attention to these critical moments. Only these critical moments will uh, define and evaluate an overall experience positively. Cognitive biases. To understand the peak and rule, it is important, like it is helpful to have an understanding of cognitive bias. So, this is the psychology concept explained here. Cognitive biases are systematic errors of thinking or rationality and judgment. Like our brain is like a shortcut making machine. Sometimes we'll think upon saving time or energy. So we just want to quickly make guesses instead of thinking each and everything slowly. So here it is mentioned, these mental shortcuts increase our efficiency by enabling us to make quicker decisions without the need to thoroughly analyze the situation. We can't take each and every situation into account. We can't recollect each and everything that had happened in the app, but we can recollect only the important things that has happened in the app. So that is the cognitive bias. So yeah, cognitive bias, it is a mental shortcut that makes our brain take a quick decision that could be sometimes wrong decision, or it could also be a right decision. Okay, this is a one liner of what cognitive bias means. The underlying reason for this can be quite often be attributed to the fact that we attempt to preserve our existing beliefs by paying attention to information that confirms those beliefs as well. There is even confirmation bias. Uh, so Confirmation bias is when we only notice or believe the things that support to what we already think. Like if we have some other thoughts already, and only if justifies that, if it gets validated to what we are already having a thought, only then it is known as a confirmation bias. So you understand what cognitive bias mean, right? So we as designers, we need to learn how the apps and websites can work with our brains, not against them. Okay. So this is about the confirmation bias example. Let's first see what does confirmation bias means. For example, let's consider that we are thinking that dogs are better than cats. So every time we see a dog does something cool, then we might say, see, dogs are the best. We might say to our friend like that. But if cats are, if cat does something better than dogs, we just ignore it and say that's just luck. So we are only noticing the things that prove that we are right, and we are ignoring everything that says it's contradictory. Right? That is confirmation bias. Our brain likes being right. We should think like whatever we do is only right. We are only superior, and what we are thinking is only correct. So it looks like for proof, and it's just looks for proof. Our mind, our brain are looking only for proof, and it is skipping all the stuff that is disagreeing with what is our already what we have as a thought. We have seen the journey mapping. So the user persona and the scenario expectation. So here, so we have already seen how the persona and having that scenario, how it actually works. So you guys are also working on that. So let's conclude this law. For this, like our memories are perfectly accurate of record of events, like a sequence of events all combined together will be accumulated as a timeline or our memories. So how the users can recall this is by finding out how we need to use the product or service again, and how we are recommending it to others. We judge past experiences based on how we felt on an average. Like the peak and the end moments only will be recollected by the user mostly, even if the beginning, like starting that app would be like not much interesting, still it was boring. Even then, if the app in the middle and the end got super cool, like it was a good experience, seamless experience for you, then you would pay attention to those key moments in the user experience, and then you would recollect the experience as a whole positively, and then you would recommend it to your friends, or give a positive review for the app. So I hope you guys can understand the difference, like how is Postel's law defined, and how is the peak, and you know how these both laws are different to each other, and what is why is each and every law important for you when it comes to design. I'll also give you a short summary on both these laws. Here, the Postel's law, uh, we need to be flexible in what we are accepting from users, and we should also be clear in what we are showing them. So the users can make small mistakes, but always we need to be giving them clean and helpful output. Okay, that is about Postel's law. In peak end rule, people will remember the experiences based on the intense part and the ending, not the entire thing. Okay, the peak and end. So just the peak and end. So we need to make sure that the best moments are going to be great, like in the middle, and we need to finish it strong. In the next class we'll see other two laws. So before that, if you guys have any question on what we have seen today, let me know. Vinod, what are you currently working on? Have you started the case study, the problem statement? Have you finalized it? Okay. So if you guys complete the case study on time, then we can find ways to organize the case study, and then even we can make the portfolio ready for you to apply for the companies, so you can get the job easily, right? So don't waste time, start doing it on time. Please look for that. You'll have to make sure your mic is working, because it is necessary for you to explain the case study at the end of this uh, program at least, right? So try to fix the mic issue. So when can I expect the problem statements from everyone? Maybe I'll share you sheets, okay? In that uh, you can just add like whatever things that you have completed. I'll share you the template. Don't keep changing the problem statement that you have picked. Just start with the pace. We can improve as the time goes on. Finalize one topic and then stick to it. It's okay if you are stuck somewhere, I can help you. I'll share the template with you guys, so you can fill that as well, so I can monitor the progress that you are making, and then if you are stuck somewhere I can help you. So we can see in the next class tomorrow. Thank you.